Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing good in your life and in your career. Let us now get started with chapter 4. The name of this chapter is Organizational Analysis and Competitive Advantage. So, in chapter 3, you studied about the external factor analysis. In chapter 4, you are going to study about internal factor analysis. And I am sure you are waiting for me to tell you how many sections are there in this particular chapter. So, there are 6 sections. Now, let me tell you about each section in brief. In section 1, you are going to study about the application of the resource based view of the firm and the VRIO framework to determine core and distinctive competencies. So, the main idea is to know about core and distinctive competencies of an organization. Also, we are going to study in detail about VRIO framework, and this you are going to study in this particular video itself. And in section 2, you will understand a company's business model and how they can be imitated. Very interesting section. In section 3, I am going to tell you about the value chain to assess the activities of an industry and of an organization. In section 4, we are going to learn about why different organizational structures are utilized in business. Why do we need so many different types of organizational structure? In section 5, we will learn to assess a company's corporate culture and how it might affect a proposed strategy. And in section 6, we are going to learn about the creation or construction of an IFAS table. I am sure you would have known by this time what is IFAS table, Internal Factor Analysis Summary Table. You remember in the last chapter, chapter 3, where we studied about the construction of External Factor Analysis Summary. So, in this particular chapter, in the last section, we are going to talk about Internal Factor Analysis Summary Table. So, let us get started with section 1. So, here as mentioned, we are going to learn about the VRIO framework to determine core and distinctive competencies. So, let us get started and understand the concept of resource based approach to organizational analysis, which is VRIO. So, this is a small section within the section 1. Here we will discuss the importance of internal analysis in strategic management and how identifying and leveraging your organization's resources and competencies can give you a strong competitive advantage. You need to know yourself well. When you know yourself well, when you know your organization properly, you get to know your strength and weaknesses. When you get to know something outside your organization, you get to know opportunities and threats. Now, because this chapter is going to talk about internal factors, so we should know what's there in my organization. What is it that makes my organization special? So, why internal analysis matters? To be successful in a competitive business environment, it is not enough to only scan the external landscape. You are just looking at others outside all the external environment, but you are not looking at your own organization. So, it is not enough to only scan the external landscape for opportunities and threats. You must look inward to recognize your strength and weaknesses, as these will largely determine your ability to capitalize on opportunities and threats. See, if you will have capability and if you will have resource, you will know how to make use of those resources using your capability. But for that, you should know what are my resources, what are my capabilities, and that is what we are going to study in this particular section. But before we move on to the resources and capabilities in detail, let us talk about VRIO framework in brief. Why am I saying in brief? Because we are going to cover this in more detail. The VRIO framework is a powerful tool used for internal analysis. It stands for value, rarity, imitability, and O stands for organization. Let us break down each element with examples. First, V. V stands for value. Resources or capabilities should add value to your organization. So, if you have some resource, for example, a resource can be your money. So, the money lying in your bank or in some company's stock should give you some value. So, resources or capabilities should add value to your organization. In other words, they should help you meet your customer needs, improve product quality, or enhance operational efficiency. This is important. You must utilize this for your business purposes. Consider Apple's design and user interface, which have consistently added value to their products and attracted a loyal customer base. Now let's talk about rarity. We are moving on to the next letter, which is R. R stands for rarity. Resources that are rare or unique within your industry are a valuable asset. Just imagine you have a strength in your organization in one of the skills that you possess. So, that is a rare skill that large number of people in your organization don't have. So, you are at a strategic advantage in the organization. Think about the special relationship between Coca-Cola and its secret formula. This uniqueness gives them a competitive edge that is hard to replicate. It is rare for any company to come out with similar recipe. I, which is the next letter, imitability. Not all valuable and resources are equally advantageous. They are advantageous, but not equally advantageous. Imitability is the degree to which competitors can duplicate your resources. You created something, your competitors have also created. So, imitability is very high. So, you have to think from another perspective, can I create something which competitors cannot copy, where you can apply the concept of patent and copyright so that you enjoy the benefit of being unique in the market for the longest period of time. If a resource is easy to duplicate or replicate, it won't provide a sustainable advantage. For example, the patent protection on pharmaceuticals which prevent others from copying a drug for a specific period act as an advantage for that particular company who owns the patent. Now we move on to the last letter in the VRIO framework is organization. Finally, even if you have a valuable, rare and hard to imitate resources, they need to be effectively organized and integrated into your organization's processes to generate sustainable competitive advantage. You have everything, you have capabilities, you have resources, you have value that you can add to the customer, you are rare, you are very difficult to copy, but your organization should have system to generate or convert all these things into sustainable competitive advantage which can help your company compete in the marketplace. A well structured research and development department that continuously innovates like Google's Alphabet exemplifies effective organization. Let us take the example of Amazon to apply VRIO in practice. Their vast logistics network is a valuable resource, rare in its scope, hard to imitate due to the massive infrastructure required, and it is very well organized. It is very difficult for other companies to deliver with such effectiveness. So, this has allowed them to dominate the e-commerce industry. In short, the VRIO framework helps you in identifying the strengths and weaknesses within your organization. By assessing your resources and capabilities through the lenses of value, rarity, imitability and organization, you can develop better understanding of how to leverage your strengths and mitigate your weaknesses to excel in your competitive environment. Always remember that effective organizational analysis like VRIO is a critical part of a strategic management for their strategic decisions. It enables organizations to harness their internal resources and competencies to gain a competitive edge in a dynamic business world. So, my future managers, make sure you apply these principles and don't just remember them as a theory to create a strong, competitive and resilient organization that you are working with. Now, let's talk about another concept in the same section, right? We are still in section 1 only of chapter 4. Now, here we will talk about core and distinctive competencies. The main idea is to understand this concept in detail so that we can focus on resources, capabilities and how they contribute to an organization's competitive advantage. So, the main idea is to have a clear understanding of resources and capabilities. You know, some people, they have lot of resources, lot of wealth, and you know some people who have lot of talent, which is capabilities, but there are some people who have resources and capabilities both. So, people with capabilities and if they have resources, they can double that wealth. But just imagine a person who has lot of wealth but does not have capabilities, he will lose all the wealth. That is the reason why it is important for the organization also to build a very strong organization. Resources will become an important element in creation of a strong organization. Why? Because resources are the fundamental assets of an organization, serving as a building blocks for its success. They come in multiple forms. Let's talk about few elements within the resources. First being the tangible assets. These are the physical resources like plant, building, machinery, equipment and various locations where you have spread your business. Think of a manufacturing company's machinery or a retail store's prime location where you have set up your store. They all are your tangible physical assets. Then we have human assets. They are my favorite because companies should always take care of the human assets. These encompass the number of employees, their skills and motivation. If your employees are not motivated, they will just do the tick mark activity. They will not be putting the best efforts to create value. Let's take the example of a company, of an Apple. Apple's design team has a strong human asset. And because of the strong human asset, they are able to create the best product for the world. Then we have the third resource, which is intangible assets. After tangible, we have to cover intangible assets, the goodwill, the brand image that the company has created over a period of time. These include technology and the patents on those technology, copyrights, organizational culture and even the reputation of the company. You can hire all the employees of your competitor. Can you still make that company that the competitor is? No. Because where will you get that culture from? So, Google's technology and all the patents, and let's take another example, Apple's brand reputation are purely the intangible assets for the company. Now, let's talk about capabilities. Turning your resources into results is very important for the organization. You have resources, you have money, but if you keep it at your home, inflation will eat that up. convert your resources into results, into some outcome, so that it starts growing for you. And for that you will need capabilities. Capabilities are what enable a corporation to utilize its resources effectively. You will have lot of money, you might be a cash rich company, but you don't have enough capabilities to convert that cash into something more stronger product for the future. So they consist of the business processes and routines that manage how resources interact to produce outcomes. Let's take an example. A company's marketing capability is the result of the collaboration among its marketing specialists, distribution channels and salespeople. This capability exists within the marketing function and helps the company excel in marketing. So when these capabilities are constantly adjusted and reconfigured to stay relevant in an uncertain environment, they are referred to as dynamic capabilities. Let me explain this in a very simple way. 10 years before, we never had digital marketing as a subject. I remember doing my MBA where Facebook was the new thing. We were using Orkut before Facebook. We had one question in the paper, what is Orkut? And we thought this is the tip of the iceberg. And today, within marketing, there's a dynamic flow of digital content. Here we are talking about SEO, search engine optimization, search engine marketing, digital marketing as a concept, content marketing, social media marketing. So many new things have been developed. And if as a teacher, I don't create my capabilities in those areas, then I will become outdated. And this is precisely the reason why you are doing one such program, so that you can build your capabilities and your capabilities will be seen through your skills. So when these capabilities are constantly adjusted and reconfigured to stay relevant in a totally uncertain environment, they are referred as dynamic capabilities. A company continuously adapting its marketing strategy to changing consumer preferences is demonstrating dynamic marketing capabilities. So here we have understood the capabilities. Now let's talk about competencies. Competencies are the cross-functional integration and coordination of capabilities. Your capability, another department capability coming together, and they will create a competency which will help us compete with the competitor. Understood? Not? Let me give you an example. A competency in a new product development might involve combining information system capabilities from one department, marketing capabilities from another department, research and development capabilities, and even production capabilities. And when you bring this together, you create a strong competency. You can learn my marketing, you can learn my HR, you can learn my IT, you can learn my research and development, but how will you create a competency? So that is the reason when the mixture of all these capabilities come together and you create something unique, that is where competencies are born. A core competency is a collection of competencies. Now we are moving on to the core competency piece, where it is a collection of competencies that extends beyond divisional boundaries and is widespread within the corporation. It's something the corporation excels at. They become the expert, and nobody or no other companies are able to create what you have created. Let's take example. Avon Products has a core competency in door-to-door selling. FedEx core competency lies in applying information technology across all its operations. Whatever they do, they will have technology. It is crucial to continuously invest in core competencies. Otherwise, they become core rigidities or deficiencies, transforming from strength to weaknesses over time. Just imagine your company has invested heavily in one software and you have become the technologically advanced company, and you say, you know what, we are now in a safe condition, we are in a stable position, we will not change it for next 10 years. And in 3 years time another technology enters into the market, your competitor captures it and they give it to their customers. What has happened in the process? You have become outdated. You cannot afford to not to invest into the continuous built up of core competencies. Now let's talk about distinctive competencies that sets you apart. When unique resources and core competencies are superior to those of the competitors, they become your distinctive competencies. General Electric's distinctive competency is its management development. Their executives are sought after by other companies in search of top managers. So ultimately, the resource-based approach is an effective way to analyze these aspects to identify what can provide the organization with real competitive advantages. In short, understanding the concept of core and distinctive competencies along with the interplay of resources and capabilities, it is essential for the strategic management in the organization at the top level. It's about leveraging so that you can outperform the competitors. So my future managers, remember the value of these concepts in building and sustaining a successful organization. I am sure some of you might be thinking, why are you calling us future managers? We are already working as a manager in corporate. So my bad, but I am sure you have understood the concept here. Now let us go into the depth of VRIO framework, and we will also evaluate competitive advantages. This is a part of this section, that is section 1 only.